30 days on the market, only one showing. Hello. Selling a house in a year is almost impossible to break even, which you are trying to do. Especially if buyers can get new construction still in the same complex. What you guys have to do is figure out why somebody would buy your house as opposed to the new construction around there and highlight that. There aren't many markets where home prices have increased 12 in the last year, particularly a market where there are new builds coming online in the same neighborhood. I don't care what your realtor says you're overpriced. New homes probably have cheaper lender rates, effectively making them cheaper than your home. These builders do this to keep comps high. A lot of homes in my area for new builds are doing 4.99 to 5.50 rates and paying closing costs. 1. Thanks. You gave me a good hearty belly laugh with "we're priced competitively." We bought last year for $549,900 and are listed for $615,000. 2. Your agent is incompetent. 3. If you can't afford to lower the price, then I guess you're not selling. The market is softening. Construction builders are giving them interest rate incentives that you cannot. You already drove your brand new house off the lot. You are too expensive. Why would someone buy a year-old house at premium when they could just build their own the way they want? Also, you're kidding yourself if you think you're going to list your house at that increase over just a year's time. You and your realtor both need to start being honest with yourselves. Lower the price to $599,000. It will show up in a lot more people's searches. And have an open house. You may have already screwed yourself by not having an open house and letting the home sit on the market for a month. But if you really have to sell, then you have to do these types of things. Also, just curious why you are selling and planning to buy another place. I know this is not what you want to hear, but you're significantly overpriced. You saying you expected to get that much more for your house over what you paid for it just a year ago is delusional. That may be harsh, but it's time to either take your house off the market or start living in reality and get serious about actually selling your house. The most expensive models appreciate the least. If you haven't done $65K worth of upgrades in the past year, I wouldn't be interested either. It's price. It's almost always price. You refuse to do an open house and you refuse to lower the price. I'd consider the things you are willing to do to get a sale. Your post mentions specifically how much these homes sold for new. Your home is no longer new. What do 5-year-old sales say a home like yours is worth? Those are your comps. One of the best laughs I've had in a while. We're priced competitively and our house is only a year old. We purchased it in 2022 for $549,900. We have it listed for $615,000. You aren't overpriced. The earth is flat. We didn't land on the moon. Either all of the above statements are false or I don't know which way is right side up anymore. Few issues. 1. When we moved in, it was the most expensive model, usually a bad idea. 2. The new houses are maybe a 100 sqft bigger and were being sold for upwards of $660,000. People like new houses. Builders may offer incentives. 3. We really don't want to do an open house. 4. We can't afford to lower the price. 5. He swore up and down that we would get $625,000 for our house and it would sell in 2 weeks max. What you're likely missing is that the new houses probably include a mortgage rate buydown from the builder, so aren't really comps for your house. Your house is likely flat from where you bought it, so you need to cut your price by $50-75K and maybe fire your realtor. I listed a house in November 2019 with a friend realtor. After 2 months we had 30 people visit, of which 6 were neighbors. 0 offers. I fired him and hired a local powerhouse team. We relisted the house. Had 100 diffed visitors in 2 weeks and 6 offers. Sometimes your representation matters. What gives you the right to flip the house in less than a year for $65K profit? You are trying to claim a 12 increase in value on a new build in 1 year. Homes increase in value 5-7 per year in a regular market, not the 2020-2022 bump unless real improvements have been made. If I was looking at the price history, I would assume that there was either something wrong with the unit people selling after only a year, or I would go look for a brand new build at that price point. House not getting views, priced too high. It took about 9 months to sell a house in a new build neighborhood when I moved from TN. Why would someone pay a premium for the features I picked out? My guess price, and the realtor doesn't know the area as well as they should. Put it for $575,000 and you might get a bidding war to get $600,000. Why are you seeking to sell after a year? Agent should be canned immediately. Your agent bought the listing by telling you it was worth more than it is. Either your agent is incompetent or dishonest. Lower price to $599 and start doing open houses every weekend. Imagine being the fool who thinks their house is worth $60,000 more in 1 year with interest rates almost doubling. We bought a home last year, made some upgrades, and, due to a lot of changes in our lives, are now selling it. Guess how much we're listing it for? $5,000 more than what we bought it for. Even though we put in about $30,000 of upgrades. We aren't even thinking about breaking even. We aren't even thinking about buying another house. Renting is what we have to do for now. We just don't want to have to bring money to the closing. If you need to unload the house, then you priced too high. No one cares about you breaking even or having money for the next house. You're going to take a loss. There is no home in a neighborhood with empty lots to be built that has appreciated in the last year. Especially a year-old build. You bought at the peak and the realtor isn't being honest with you. It's because mortgage rates are too high. The economy is creeping towards recession, and people can't afford it. Home builders are offering new construction houses and subsidizing the mortgages to offer 4-5 versus the 7 the rest of the market is dealing with. Honestly, you gotta think hard and make a decision to either lower it and bite the bullet, or probably be stuck there, as the value will be fairly lower in the coming year. I'm going to be that guy. There is no other answer than you are priced too high. IDK why people think they can buy property and for no reason whatsoever the value goes up by 10. If this is the case, it's always priced too high. Nothing more, nothing less. If you bought for $549 last year, it's worth maybe $560 now. It's no longer 2022 and there isn't anywhere that a 12 gain has been had. Based on most of the North American market, your house is probably worth around $520,000. That is your problem. You're not getting that much more than you paid for it. I wouldn't pay it even if it was in my budget. The market hasn't allowed for that increase either. If a house isn't selling, then it's not priced competitively. I find it amusing when people try to sell their house over market value and are then shocked that it won't sell. Honestly, thank God, because it means the market might be healing a bit. This kind of delusional thinking needs to go. Lower your price. You're trying to make a $65,000 profit over 1 year. No crap, it hasn't sold. That's an insane profit margin for 12 months. I can't blame people for not wanting to buy it. I wouldn't. Your house is probably helping sales in the community. Why buy a used house when you can own a new one for a little more? The builder is probably giving buyer incentives also.